Okay, call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Let's go around and introduce ourselves for the record.
Scott Pryor, Select Board. Scott Morley, Select Board. Dan Webster, Select Board.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator.
Carver Maxwell, Planning Commission.
Norm Patton, Park Industries.
Steve Bartlett, Treasurer.
Eric Kinnett, Resident.
Ernie Hunt, President.
Thank you. Okay, public comment. Anyone? Have a public comment? Okay. Next up is road crew vacancy. We have hired one individual. His name is Jeff Young. He's been working since a couple Thursdays ago. John would like us to hire somebody else. I've had two people come in interested in the position already. All I need from you guys, if you want me to put it back out in the Chronicle or a different paper this time and set up some interviews. And
so when we were doing that last time, we had gotten ourselves to the spot where we thought we wanted free full time, right? We're still there, I'm still there. I think full time and all those things that we hashed off on other change. For me, we thought we had two candidates, but one got a better offer, I guess.
he decided to stay at his, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he decided to stay at Linden, at town of Linden.
We had no other applicants at that full, that wanted the full time at that point.
Correct.
So now you're indicating we've got people that have been coming in.
Yep.
I'm all for advertising, putting things out to see what you get for interest. That's the way I like it. I don't know if you guys are thinking of this one, but what is the Chronicle's expense now?
Deb, do you know what the Chronicle costs for advertising?
A lot.
Right, but it
They're all
only,
getting to be
like,
that
we're
way.
paying $800 for a week in the Newport Daily. Would it be less than that?
It probably would be comparable, because you got to figure usually like the Orleans Record was the cheapest. And when we advertised our warning for 3 weeks, it costed us $1,500.
Yeah. I mean, they're all expensive.
Yeah, they are. But-
Put in,
Tiny.
we do a business card for work and it's maybe $50.
I think it's different from municipality.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's $100 a day. I mean, we run something in the for 1 week in the Newport, it's $800.
Yeah, I know the Newport.
Yeah. And honestly, we don't get,
It's a different reader
Anything from
audience,
the
probably. You know,
Chronicle
it's
is,
Chronicle.
yeah.
So that's where I would go. I
Okay.
don't know what you guys think or.
Well, I had some time this week to talk with John in length. And we went back and forth, and then I had some time to talk to Zach. Right now, Zach, he's our part-time guy. When we talked to him,
So this is the personnel.
no,
Okay.
no. When we talked to him, you know, about the position, you know, he's a part-time guy, and he really didn't really want to commit to like a schedule. You know, he does great work. John thinks he does great work. After talking with Zach, he is willing, he wanted me to bring this to the board's attention. He's willing to commit to a schedule, like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 to 4, and Thursday, 6 to 12. He gave us 35 hours a week, which is our minimum for full time. Talking with John about Zach's work ethics, I guess. John is extremely happy with the amount that gets done. The only problem John has had with Zach in the past is not knowing when he's going to show up, not being reliable. So I'm proposing that we hire Zach full-time and have him sign, commit to this schedule. And if he doesn't commit to the schedule, then, then he'll lose a job. Otherwise, after talking with Zach, if he's not hired full-time, he needs to get full-time employment and he's gonna leave the town.
I do not wish to engage in personnel discussion here. I think that's what that is. I understand that. I understand the discussions that we had with them in that executive session. But I think that that's where we would need to go back to in order to have those levels of detailed personnel discussion. In lieu of that, you haven't changed my mind. I think for the town's business, what I've heard and learned from folks in the last month about the needs of the road crew, what we discovered just in our discussions and in the interview process, that we went down those steps of what we needed, why we needed it. We heard from new foreman what his needs and concerns were, and we made a decision to get 2 full-time folks. And I think that we should, with this change where we thought we had 2 and now we had 1, I don't know why it hurts to put the message out again for another week and allow any applicant to apply and the best candidate gets the job. That's where I'm. And without going into all of those details, of which some I may or may not agree with, I just don't think it's the right spot for it.
Well, I think when the legality issue of that comes involved, that I feel we have that issue, because it has to be, technically it has to be an advertising condition for at least 2 weeks, and I don't know how that might work out if you're offer that too.
He's already an employee though. I think it's a,
Yes, but it's changing from a part-time seasonal opportunity to a full-time position, which I think in legality we can have. Technically, outside, just to make it on par. Something better, I don't know, monthly down. Lawyer or whatever, better.
well, I'm not opposed to putting an ad in the paper, doing another round of interviews, and Zach can see what's about the position. You can come in for an interview.
And you have 2 others, you said.
So far, yeah, no, 3. I got another one today. Got 3, not counting Zach.
And that's just what sort of left over from the last process, you think, or?
No, once, I think they heard from John,
Oh,
and then one guy actually Phil told me about today.
word enough, so.
Yep. That we were still looking for another guy. So they didn't, they didn't see anything in the paper or anything like, or they saw our previous one in the paper, but. So they just came in on their own and said, hey, I heard you're looking for a road crew help. I'm interested.
How much does a radio cost, radio ad?
I don't know.
Very expensive.
More so than a paper?
They were on, I was doing them last with report. And then it depends on how many hits you want to do and what time of day. There's a bunch of different.
3 a.m.
You also have like VLCT that you can go and post them like on their sites.
Yeah, and that's free, I think, right, Deb?
What's that?
Yeah, and that's free, I think, right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. So. Reason.
I think it makes sense to give it some time, simply because
I don't know Zach at all. That's what I stand on.
Well, the other thing though, that's keeps this within the realm or the scope of talking about it is Zach did come in and apply for the full-time position.
Yeah.
So, but at that time, he wasn't seriously about committing to a schedule. So the only thing that's changed since him applying for the position is he's willing to commit to it. You know,
What are we gonna do there?
I'm gonna put it back out in the paper, right?
I would.
For a week.
I don't know if we're all in agreement on it or not. Chair. I don't see where it hurts, you know, it's one of those things where.
I don't think it hurts to give it another week.
You know, if you do-
If I don't, I mean, if I don't put it out in the paper, I've got to tell the guys that have already inquired about it something. Right?
Yeah, have they given you, resumes?
No, but they've formally, they give me an application,
Yeah, so
you know, they, you know,
It
they,
would be easy
yeah,
to just
there's no
run
form.
People I interviewed for the position.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing that can hurt you with putting it out. And I think we tell all four that's what's happening and asking for resumes.
Yep.
We definitely should, so we can go, just like we did before, so we can go through what their work history is and the references and the calls and, you know, do the process. And
Mhm.
select the best candidate for the panel. So, person's still working there or not.
Okay. Very good. Next up is summer paving projects. So we've gotten a couple budgetary quotes. One from Norm over there and one from Hutchins. I asked Grays, they haven't gotten anything to me yet.
Hutchins is what, 200,000?
200,000 more than Norm.
Should have just got a quarter inch thinner.
Have you seen these, Scott?
I have not seen him.
You should have seen the Pike. I think you saw the Pike one. I don't know.
This is one from.
Pike. I don't, the Hutchins one, we just barely, I don't think nobody's seen that.
So that's all the break there. The roads. The issue is, mostly the last number of years, 2 years, the town's done a lot of time, they put the base coats down. And so now they're having top coat. So that's why they're stolen the roads all kind of being done at the same time. There were some snafus.
Well, last year, what happened was last year, the price was higher, so we have a 2-year-old quote from like that's less for like 300 ton, 3,000 ton, how many tons? Do we have in reserve, like at a lower price? 2,800 ton.
But this will just be a base coat.
The airport's a base, yeah.
Other than that,
Not at all. And Austin Ridge is there too.
I think that's the better. So. You've talked with Matt, you talked with, Graves,
Yes.
and they knew of this and they were.
And they told me they were gonna get, they told me they were gonna get one just like those guys got me and I,
And you told them today was the day.
yes, well, actually, I told them last week was the day, but. I said I'd take it today too, but I didn't. I never actually talked to Mark, but I talked to the, one of the ladies said she was gonna get it.
Norm, is still your number, or you're going down with that?
I went down. I go down even lower, I just want.
Yes, you did.
Does it say anywhere in Norm on here about the 2,800 tons?
Yes, it's
in there.
it's in there, it's the old quote too.
Yeah, 2089, yeah.
Yeah. See, I remember that number, see? I'm old, but not that old.
And without it being right at my fingertips, and that's, the new base coat, we went the whole road at 2.5.
2.5
Okay.
and a little bit wider, because John wanted to go down that hill wider.
Yep.
For the
That's all in
whole-
there.
Right, and that's the extra 850 tons of it.
And that included the Maple Ridge,
Yes.
Lawson
and
Ridge,
that
Maple
helped.
Ridge, buried.
doing that
Yeah.
fix.
Yeah, fixing that correctly, and
What else did we talk about?
that's the Alderwood Road to. Doing that.
And this is. That's not the expense of the town, right? Because that's not including state.
Like, we're gonna get $180,000, right? And that,
Matt.
180, that the state,
The state.
Yes. Yeah,
180 off this. Well,
off
it
the,
comes to us, we pay it, they reimburse.
off the
it.
Alderbrook Road one.
So off this total
Yeah, well, yeah, you could say that,
is
because Alderbrook's in there.
180.
So he's paying about, yeah, 580, 570.
And it may turn out to be more than 180. That's where we're at right now. He said it might go up.
So he said they had it for 10,000, I think.
He said he's got another that 10 to 30,000 that might get distributed into, so but we won't go any lower than 180.
And this money is available to us where?
Well,
We had it set aside
yeah,
in our budget.
it's in the road. Yeah, it's in the roads and
So we've got, I see that nodding. Mark, oh, there's Dave. I was looking at the screen, Dave, sorry. So we've got what we need in that special fund, reserve fund for that. Well, they gotta be done, right?
How does it work, Dave? So on the Aldrich Road, when we get reimbursed from the state, do we submit the bill after we pay it? And then they reimburse us?
yes. What's the name of the fund? Road and infrastructure.
That's the one. Roads and infrastructure.
Roads, infrastructure.
Norm, what you got for us?
Well, so some of this is grant funded, typically you can't start that before July 1st. Okay,
The grant fund,
Yeah.
that's correct. Now, in a lot of cases, the state's allowed us, this is really short, then go ahead and do it early. If the contractor and the customer choose to, you don't have to, but. And we would not bill it, if we did do it before, we would not bill it before the July 1st.
Okay, good.
You know, that's one way,
so you have enough roads here to work around that anyway, though, really.
definitely.
Yeah.
The one on the airport road, is one area of concern, that let it dry out. It was earlier this spring, we looked at it with John, and it was pumping up pretty good. But he said, since then it's dried out. I didn't know if they should cut that piece out, piece of dirt out, see what's underneath there, but. According to Mr. Gallup, it's all, but the drainage in there and it dried out.
That on the hill?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's spot. And so I said, well, maybe we'll choose to do that a little bit later, let it dry out. But according to John, it's dried out pretty good. So. Now, again, that will be a base coat for this year, but you just cannot do the base coat walk away from it. You've got to do a top surface on it. I mean, talking a year or so, a year, 2 years max. Some of these gonna left you out. And then all of that. So I would really recommend if you do that, put the base coat on, take it out next year, put the top coat on. And don't run that.
We talked about the different grade, not grade, but the different
Mix.
mix
Next, yeah.
and
So, and then different liquids in the mix too. You don't wanna. Some towns choose to go with a state blended liquid. It's the $3.50 more time to do that. Okay, is it really worth it? I don't think so. We're gonna get these freeze thaw cycles, regardless what you put on for the top coat, but I just recommend a better blend. Instead of a basic blend, we're going intermediate blend like we did last year.
And that's
In the, how do you figure it?
already figured in, so it's a better one.
Yes.
So you possibly start sometime.
Yeah, we could, once this weather straightens out, we're gonna be working on the two-way, between Lynn and Barton. So we get time to come in and do some, and then come back at a different time, I'm not saying we're gonna stay here and do all of it at one time, but
You have it completed by September 1st.
September 15th.
September
Say.
15th.
Yeah. We want to get it done before what we call the growing season ends. So in case it's the mulch, the roof, stuff like that, you want that, everything done prior to that.
So that's not in here,
What's that as far as
the,
time frame?
yeah. Is that a problem with putting that in there?
No. We do that, if you want to.
Yeah.
September 15th.
I think that's what we had, isn't that what we had, where we were at, with September 15th, or,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us want to go beyond that, and so I think we ought to be very clear about it and just say, let's not.
No, the state allows you to go until October 15th.
Yeah, we don't want,
So, but with that being said, you think it's pretty fair sized program, which is a very big for a town. Don't get me wrong, this is extremely big for a town. I've got another town Bradford's gonna do almost the same, But again, they're like Coventry, didn't do nothing last year, they're doing a lot, They didn't have a paving program last year, remember? Because, the pricing was too high. And they got squashed, but.
so,
Yeah, they put down September 15th.
We approve it.
Yeah, and I decided it, and
What are you talking about? 2 inches or
inch and a half.
inch and a half?
Yeah. And with, like Lawson Ridge, that needs to be level, so it's gonna get, if you can have top coat beside the level of the course.
Yeah, so basically shim and then overlay.
Not shimming the whole thing because you don't want to raise the center of that really too much more. It's already high now.
I was just up there last week, I noticed there's a lot of cracks in it. I know it's just base coat, but I know you're just playing with shim and an overlay or just an overlay.
No, the shim and the overlay, and the shim basically is to take care of the outside edges, they drop off too much, try to bring them up, because like John said, it's hard to control the truck and wears out the cut edge on the plow because the center's too steep. So when they built it, we're gonna take some of that out of it, we're gonna flatten it out a little bit.
then are you?
Okay, I make a motion that we accept Plank Industries contract with one change, but the work is to be completed by September 15th, 2023. The full bid price of $756,648.05. To pave the roads that are on the contract, I can read through them if you want, but we went through them already. You want to read them?
Yeah, why not? Just for the record.
Okay, so the roads are gonna be a top coat on Pine Hill Road. And do some work on Coventry Station Road, Cover Bridge Road, Lawson Ridge Road, Maple Ridge. Airport Road. And. That's all the ones that are on there.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Thanks, guys.
No. Not easy work.
Okay, next up, we have the town of Coventry, speed limit ordinance. I emailed this template out to you guys a little while ago. This came from the Orleans County Sheriff's Department. It's something they sent to all the towns.
We'll give you a copy of this tomorrow.
Well, I'll stop with you.
Yeah, stop and get a copy tomorrow, Norm.
Okay, I'll give you a copy of that certificate of insurance.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is what's just good. Yeah, questions? Still have it.
We looked at this.
You did. I did. I just thought there was something that we want to stay on the record that would right, that's, but I just wanted you to say it in a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, walk us back through that.
Okay, so the sheriff's department in this Orleans County is having a hard time in court prosecuting speed limit tickets because of the various speed limit ordinances in the towns in this county. So they have sent this out to every town, hoping that every town is gonna make this their town speed limit ordinance. Therefore, when they go to court, it is supposed to make their lives easier.
How many hours of rolling? the
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Yeah.
I get it, I understand why they would want to try to make their life easier. But for me, saying it light is not our problem. I mean, we have our own ordinances. We contract with them for not speeding, but enforcement operations. We don't tell them how to do that, and I don't think they should tell us how to do ours.
Is it, and do they want like more signs up, or what exactly do they?
No, they want the select boards in every town to motion and accept that document you've got in your hand. Of course, I'd have to change it and make it say Coventry in all the places where it doesn't say anything. So that way that when they go in court, they can slap that down in front of a judge and say, yeah, hey, Coventry says the speed limit on this such and such a road is, whatever, 50, and
It just saves.
this guy was going 65, so, bring him up.
Spend time that way. They went to court. They would need, if they wanted to go to court and fight a speeding ticket, they'd have to come to the town and get a copy of our ordinance saying we are speeding in town, but that's probably what they should do.
So can I add or mention maybe that into this? There are 4 current ordinances regarding the speed from back in 2001. Now, part of this, I think where this started is, this was before I was done, is they came and said that they were unable to hold up tickets in court because we do not have an ordinance on the paved roads for the newly paved roads that we have. That was, we voted to update that ordinance back, it was February, January or something. To update the ordinance to include the paved roads, to reword it as paved roads. To uphold the 35 million. Because they were not able to uphold that in court because, and I'm looking at it here, there is an unpaved highway ordinance. And then they have there was 3 other ordinances calling out out Maple Ridge, River Road, a couple of them. Separately, I'm not sure why it was done that way back in that day. It was Brad and dairy goes. But that, to my knowledge, that what we voted on back in February to update the ordinance to include, to have it worded for the paved road has not been done yet. Which I believe maybe that's where this was stemming from, is maybe they don't have the copies, because you said you sent them just the minutes of that decision, right?
No, I sent them the thing that we did, and they said they don't, that's not what they want. They want this.
There was a new ordinance written and signed by.
Why, whatever we had that night, whatever you guys had that, I had a document that night at that meeting, whatever you guys approved, I sent that to the Orleans County Sheriff's Department. They came back and said, no, we don't, they want something that's the same in every town.
Those ordinances I'm looking at right here do follow with that document later. And a layout. So that's why I was.
Right, but it's not. Yeah, it's not, no, I send what you and Dave and Scott approved that night to Hano, and he wants this right here. This is what they want.
But we're not receiving this because of any issue on our town road. Every town got that.
And if that's the case, that's the case, but I just wanted to make sure that that change was unpaid, because I don't remember seeing the updated ordinance. I remember it coming.
But just
See what
make a note to me
vote.
before we review it.
Yeah.
That's what we should do an annual review
Right.
of all of our ordinances and procedures, so we can solve that and some of them later and take a look at it, but that's our issues.
Right.
It's not the sheriff's issues. We can supply them any copies they wish. But.
Most of the roads have signs,
They do, yeah.
so I don't understand the trouble with some of the speed, they're going 50 on a 35.
Yeah, I don't know either, but they're having problems in court.
And maybe they're
According to
not
them, yeah.
at Us, maybe they just send it out.
Right.
Send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe we should just look at our ordinances and, move on.
So.
Okay.
You're gonna let them know that?
Yes. Yep. Okay, next up is ARPA. So, there's a couple things to do here. The first one is, I need you guys to approve an amount of $9,206.40. And those are for emergency shelter tables, which will be kept at Coventry Village School for the emergency shelter.
How much again?
$9,206.40.
So. I wasn't here for all of those discussions, but just. So emergency shelter tables, so they're not used for anything else other than that?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I remember right there. Getting new. Launch tables. And they're from over there because they can be used as part of the. I don't believe it didn't go to the ARPA committee, but I remember it through with that they needed new lunch tables and that it was thought to come to the board. To ask to use the ARPA money because it is the secondary emergency shelter and where we can do an overnight shelter. We can't do overnight here. That they would be able to be used. As a shelter.
And that was essentially a decision that we've been through this a couple of times, but I'm educated up a little bit on that, so it's the decision that the board's made. And
Yes.
so the funds. Have or haven't been,
They have not.
they've not been expended yet.
I would say you had a motion.
Right, you have a
So
that's
they're bought and they're waiting for us to.
I believe they could be invoiced, yeah.
Okay. So. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was already done.
Yeah.
So that's for the school, right? So I'll motion, that we supply the school with the agreed upon $9,206.40. From
Let me make a slight point.
Yeah.
We need a motion to that as an emergency.
Say, you gotta say emergency shelter.
I was getting there.
Don't say school.
I mean, we get into legalities for funding the school directly.
So we'll say,
There's a very narrow range of emergency shelter things that we can fund. Like, we fund the emergency generator. And maybe some other infrastructure.
so I'll start over with.
Yep,
Yeah, thank you.
See how I do this?
yeah,
I'll make a motion that we fund the $9,206.40 from our ARPA funds to the town's emergency shelter. Pages.
So moved.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, sir.
okay. Now. Also under ARPA, we have a plow truck. With a warranty. And concrete for the salt shed.
Okay. We have one before that. Don't we have the water meter thing?
Well, that's done. You've already motioned, that's already,
So
that was before your time.
Check's written.
So that's
Yeah.
already done?
That's already
We
done.
haven't read it, but it is in.
Okay.
No, we paid this one, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so those are both cleaned up.
Those are clean.
Okay.
So what you've got. Is the truck. With or without the warranty. And the salt shed concrete.
After talking with John, did he agree? I know David had recommended buy the warranty.
John would also like the warranty. The warranty is $8,190.
$200,000 truck, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, so. Can we take one step backwards
Mm-hmm.
in the discussion? Simply that, this has been on our agendas for the last couple of weeks. We talked about it a bunch. We looked at different scenarios and issues. So factually, we decided that what we would do is go ahead and clean up like we just did, right? And then go ahead and expend the rest of the money on bills outstanding and projects that we have sort of in the pipeline, right? That's where we're at. So I think it would be important, just as a matter of good, clean business, because if I understand this correctly, the town had previously created a committee for the ARPA funds to take a look at that townwide. Don't know, I'm wrong. And then they would supply, do some work, whatever they were gonna be doing. I think that's how we got the first two, right? That's how we got the tables, and that's how we got the water meters.
Correct.
And so I think that it's important for this board to say thank you to them, wherever they are. I think you were on it right now. Who are they?
Matt Maxwell, Dave Barlow, Praneet Menon, and Christina Fletcher.
And so I think we should be courteous with them and thank them for that effort and work. And at the same time, I think that we've made the decision at this point to go ahead and spend the rest of those funds, so we should disband that group. And would we want to motion that? Was that a motion that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah, because that's what you're going into now with new decision making, that the board is outside of that committee.
yes.
So I would motion to disband, if that's the proper word, the ARPA committee as previously established by the board.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Very good.
That then leads us to saying easy math, what's left over and what do you got for all of those projects you're talking about?
Okay, so the truck without the warranty, $193,174. Salt shed concrete, $16,000. Warranty for the truck, $8,190.
What does that balance leave us roughly?
You get, if you approve the spending of those three items, we would have $53,500 left in ARPA funds. Out of our original $315,068.02.
And the remaining funds feel we should use.
Towards a
Okay.
structure. Yeah,
Because that's just the concrete.
that's just the 16's just the concrete,
And that's something we need because we're gonna have road service.
correct, and we're gonna need a structure because the current one doesn't exist anymore.
Gone already.
Well, I think so.
So the truck is a truck that the town has already purchased.
Correct, it's been on order for
Right.
7 months and it's gonna
Yep.
be in 2 weeks or less, right?
So it's nothing that you just
Yeah.
said, well, it's just, you know.
Right.
No, that truck's coming.
Yeah. We are already having to start thinking through the payment
Yep.
on that. So this is the way for the town to utilize the ARPA funds.
What do you get in
This is free money. And we don't have to take that out of any special fund or any other operating budget. The warranty to it is what now?
$8,190. That's for the best warranty. Like there's 4 different warranties. That's the best one. That's the extended.
With the what the town has, I think we should have the rest.
Well, that's what the road, this is what the road foreman wants.
Oh, that was my next question.
He wants-
John
He
is-
wants this warranty.
This is what he wants.
That's what his recommendation.
So is that gonna plow on it and does that cost that truck
Everything's
is
new.
Yeah.
ready to roll, rock and roll, and it's coming the way it is? Right, ready to go.
Mhm.
I have a question. Why are you doing capital expense out of there? And then the capital, and I know we'll cover it all, but. You and I had a discussion about capital expenses one time, and you said that shouldn't be coming out of there.
Well, you want me to answer that?
It doesn't matter to me. You saying who, you were or one of the other ones, it's up to you. I'm just curious. Cause I know we had other discussions of using that ARPA money for this project here, the parking lot or other things, and that's not gonna. You're using the capital expense that we have a fund for.
I think it's an expense that the town's got. It's incurred it. It's coming when?
2 weeks.
June, yeah, right, or 1st of June at the latest, I
Gotta
think.
be right in check.
We've got that money. Personally, I say stop playing all the games and spend the money. So if you've already got things without being creative and giving it away, which is what we've been doing, spend it on the town.
Oh, I guess that's where I was going, that's where I was going, with spending on the town, but for stuff that this, I'm gonna be willing to bet, just making this parking lot nice and around here is not gonna happen.
Well, we have money in building and maintenance
How
account
much is the money?
that we put it in there for the parking lot. So I mean, it makes really, you can go here,
No,
and here, with that, let's use it.
Then we still have what?
53,500.
You're still at 53,000. Yeah, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
We're a lucky town.
Very lucky. I just say clean it up, get it done. It's expenses that you're already incurring. It's like, you know, the coconut shell game. It's just like, get it done. I do agree that we have to do a lot better job, and I think we're gonna be having pretty significant discussions going forward around how we budget, how we utilize operations, how we utilize special funds, what those are for, what their intents were. We gotta have all of those discussions in towns, because it's easy to spend money. What we just, what are we about to spend? I mean,
Close to $250,000.
And, you know,
No, $1 million
Yeah.
between paving and,
yeah, we're spending $1 million today. And it's that easy. And if funds are that easy to get, they're that easy to spend in the future. But. I mean, ARPA's gotta be spent, right? So, the town has expenses, just utilize it and then sort of let the dust settle on that with the code special funds. It's nice not to have to replenish $250,000. That's what we'd be doing, you know, next spring. So now we won't have to do that. That's where I'm at. And then the salt shed that was the concrete, and that was again something that was developed some time ago, right?
Yeah, that you guys, that was
Decided
approved a while
It
ago.
was sort of the same
Yeah.
thing, which is
Yeah.
it's an in progress.
We're not making this stuff up to you.
No, you, I mean,
Yeah.
you approved the salt shed, you just didn't say you were gonna use ARPA funds to pay for it.
Yeah.
You said we're putting new concrete into that thing,
Yeah.
so
And so
now you're saying if you wanna
so
say.
that'll get the concrete I'll pay for.
Yep.
Which is quoted.
Correct,
Who did?
McAllister.
McAllister. And then we'll have to, did you put bids out yet for the construction aspect?
I've started talking to people.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna look and take a look at it, I can, or give some input, maybe get a material list going and give the town an estimate of what I think it should cost us, and then we can get some bids.
Did the calendar come back? Wasn't there a cutting something or other that was not on that board? That he was doing?
yeah, he's doing that for another $1,000.
Now, I have a check saying it's included.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah, so
perfect.
we're not paying an extra $1,000.
Perfect.
I'm good with those expenses to get them done, cleaned up.
Hit me with a motion, then
What was you want them by line and?
I would like them by line, yeah.
It's just.
Yeah,
So
so
the
it's,
first one is not,
first one's the truck,
which was what?
193,174.
What was the next one?
Salt shed concrete. 16,000.
Even?
Yep. And the warranty, extended warranty for the truck is $8,190.
It's the balance.
That will leave us with 53,500.
You have any issue doing that?
No, I feel like it's all stuff that. Everyone in town.
Just spending it out of some fund, right? You want, so each one of those individuals, so all motions. The town expend through the ARPA fund, from the ARPA fund, $193,174 for the purchase of the new truck for the road crew.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Make another motion, the town expend from the ARPA funds $16,000 for the salt shed foundation.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye. Lastly, I would make a motion that the town expend ARPA funds in the amount of $8,190. Purchase the extended warranty for that new truck.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. The original on the Berlin's getting fixed.
Okay, good. Thanks, guys. Next up, we have the treasurer's report.
Oh, everybody.
The highlight of the evening.
Have that.
You guys should have the first page of it in there. I didn't print out all the other ones.
Yeah, all the juicy details are in the back.
Yeah.
Everybody gets those in their email. They're on the email list for good stuff, and they're curious. Trouble sleeping. So, I'm talking about the March report. I actually almost have the April report ready as well, but I'll talk tonight about the March one. I can do a little bit of look ahead on April because there's been some positive changes in the reserve funds for April as well. So March was the month where I did all of the fund moves into the reserve funds that were voted in the early March town meeting. So you look at the sheet in the reserve fund range, which is kind of in the middle, you'll see on the revenue line, the reserve funds, big number. I moved 200,000 from the general fund to the buildings and maintenance. Another 200,000 is the roads capital equipment fund. 350,000 is the roads infrastructure fund. 100,000 is the reappraisal. 50,000 is the flood recovery and mitigation. And you see the little numbers on the revenue side, the little $50s and $60, those are bangers. On the expense side of the reserve fund, we paid out the rest of the roof to the roofing company on the meeting house. And with the reappraisal side, we had those are expenses for the ongoing I guess it's litigation at this point with Moose BT. And community and economic development, that's a sidewalk study. Most of that is reimbursable under a grant. So actual reserve fund spending last month in March. 2 months ago, March was 11,571. We pay that through the general fund, so that number gets paid out with general fund checks. So I end up transferring money from the reserve fund into the general fund to reimburse the general fund. So that's why you see up on the general fund line, which is near the top, 2 sets of numbers. The primary one being balance on March 1st and the balance on March 31st, revenues and expenses. But some of that revenue is the reserve funds reimbursing the general fund. So if you want to see the general fund without any reserve fund spending, that's the line underneath that, which shows revenues of 75K and expenses is 1.5. About that, really, I think for a minute. Those expenses are mostly transfer, expenses and transfer. So most of that 1.5 million is money moved, like I just described, the money moved into the reserve funds. Part of that also, in addition to that 1.5 is 250K that went to the CD. As part of the let's get some more interest on our money project. So when you see expenses and transfers of 1.5, that's not that's mostly transfer, it's not expense. It was a normal month for expense. Nothing unusual. If you're interested in the details on the expenses, that's all in the report on the pages afterwards. You can see it all in glorious detail of who we paid, what we paid, who did what to who. Anybody has any questions on that, that's both the board and the audience, I'd be happy to just let me know. You can get me by email or telephone. I can go through it. Okay, so if there are no questions, I will just give a little bit of a look ahead to April. So that I've mostly got it done, so I'll get that to you on the next meeting. But just to run down the reserve funds, I got the $50,000 grant we had from Vermont Preservation Trust to do the rehab on the former Congregational Church, now the Alive People Meeting House. That $50,000 grant got paid, so that is now back into the buildings and maintenance fund. So that fund, as of April 30th, is $384,000. So a fairly significant change there. The state paid out the annual reappraisal fund spending or reappraisal, in a sense, grant, but I guess it's not a grant, it's just money the state pays us each year to do reappraisals, that's in the reappraisal fund. So just, it gives you kind of a way of comparison, it was $5,906.
That is really bad. That's a joke.
Which we spend pretty much every, that's a 2-month spending on average. Just kind of an average town. Yeah, we have the landfill, but a lot of towns have ski resorts and other things that are equally impressive in their ability to drain reappraisal funds. The current balance of the roads infrastructure fund is 1.1 billion. That's kind of important number for the spending tonight. Roads capital equipment fund is at 393,000. That's a leading rate, but you'll see that next time around, just because we're doing a lot of reserve funds tonight, I had to bring that forward. And with that, if there are no questions, I will turn it back.
Thanks, David. Any questions, guys?
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David. All right, other business, I've got some.
No, one thing we didn't have, I don't know if we can talk about it, is about the Stan Susi.
Yeah, we never got a bill, so I don't,
Yeah, I reached out to the office. We could probably approve it tonight and we're gonna, you didn't get when they're gonna send it. Tomorrow.
that's,
We can wait, we can wait.
that's up to you. Yeah, you can make him wait if you want. I mean, we're having another meeting in 2 weeks, so. The first thing is I need you guys to sign this. This is a approval for the location of a salvage yard for the Rockwells on the River Road. I spoke to the director of the salvage program for the state of Vermont. He said that these guys are good. They pass all their inspections and there's no reason for this town to not approve their location of their salvage yard at this time. Reapprove it. It's there. Then they passed all the inspections. They do everything they're supposed to do. And he's said,
They're down by the bridge.
yeah, he said there's no reason, there's no legal reason for this town to not allow them to have that there. He said they're fine, they're in compliance, they're doing everything right.
Yeah, I don't know. I should probably get a motion, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think. David, we should motion that?
Hopefully.
Yeah, please, he says.
So you're gonna have to fill out these dates.
Why was, yeah, or they can fill them out. This goes back to the Rockwells.
You talked to someone at the state?
I talked to the director of the salvage yard program for the state of Vermont, the guy that's in charge of all the salvage yards in the state.
I mean, I know we don't have any zoning, but years ago, that was looking pretty bad and.
He said that they're really good. He said there is another salvage yard in this town where if we get one of these from them, he wants to know immediately because they're not doing a good job and they're not they're not listening to his letters or his phone calls. So if they come in with one of those, he'd like to know about it. But these people are good.
No, it's not good.
So what is that, in every 5 years, that 5 years?
Yes, so this was previously approved by Brad Maxwell and Mike Marcotte back in 2018. It's a 5-year thing.
We must have been on vacation.
Hey, question. That's River Road or Hamel Road?
What? Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it-
Oh, this is Hamel?
Well,
It's-
it's mailbox.
Yeah.
It's Webster Road, but it needs to be Hamel because his address is Hamel. I have verified that. And actually, I didn't-
Says here his address is 1656 Webster Road,
Webster Road.
Coventry, Vermont.
You want to meet the underpass?
No,
No, so it's down at the bottom of
my
Webster.
my neighbor.
Right, I'm thinking of. You remember going to Orleans just before I get into Orleans? That was. I'm thinking this is. No, okay.
It's rock.
Yeah. There's rocks and Rockwells. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Okay. I think I know what you mean. I know these. They have the motor and the mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can see
All right, so that's why I was a little hesitant. I'm thinking that was bad.
And it's getting,
It's starting to get that way again.
they come back.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
Rock.
On River Road?
Down in Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd make a motion that we
You're approving the location of their salvage yard.
Okay, so, I'll motion that we sign as a board the certificate of approval for location of a salvage yard for Charles and Jamie Rockwell. That's 1656 Webster Road. Tree, Vermont. And it's important enough that this is a renewal.
Correct.
So is it supposed to be Webster Road or Hamel Road?
It's right now, E91 is Webster Road.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. This next one is an NEK broadband governing board, and I just need Scott's signature on it.
What is that?
That's David.
You're appointing me as the town NEK fed rep and Bill as the alternate.
Oh, boy, something I don't know about. What is it again?
The
Or do I dare to?
Communications Union District, the town voted a couple of years ago to join. They're busy building fiber to the home throughout the northeast. And
We're over in the east. That's.
We've already.
I don't think, I don't
Is there a
think,
date? Does that have to be done every year?
yes,
I think you could just sign it, Scott.
Can you do that for me, start over and do that for me again, like I've never heard it before?
Oh, we got an hour?
Yeah.
well, the bottom line up front is it involves no funding from the town whatsoever.
Then why are we signing it?
So you're not paying me, but I am representing you.
You're appointing the two of us as the record town representatives of the given district. And that's part of what they had to do what we had to do was we voted.
This is like
Yeah.
third year in, right?
Yes.
Nothing's changed.
This is the third, and we're volunteers, we're not paid. This is not a paid activity.
You should be paid.
What?
Man. If I can get them to show up with fiber.
So what does it, what have you done so far, you two?
Attend meetings.
We attend meetings and vote.
Vote for what?
They have a normal board meeting that they run their operating business on. They
Is it true the towns that pay more money get faster service? Like,
You,
keep them in mind.
you, if you pay up, if you were willing to put some or all of your ARPA funds towards the project. The better part of that deal was they would match it, or sometimes double match it. And certain elements of your community might get service faster, but might be operative. I never gave you guys a hard sell on that. Coventry is far enough down the list of when it's gonna happen that I couldn't make a good case for they can come put money into it, but
we weren't like number 15 in possibly number 2, we're like number 200 and maybe.
no, I mean, you're sometime in probably in the next couple of years. Might see some through the house drop. You've already got infrastructure in half. Happening through the backbone and passing through.
But what is the Northeast Kingdom Community Broadband Communications Union District?
It's a lot like any other non-profit organization, albeit government, quasi-government, I guess would be the way I would describe it.
Profit government, nonprofit organization. Nonprofit internet service provider.
Yeah. And there's pretty much every town in the state of Vermont is in one. One is in the north.
The goal is to be able to get federal funding. Federal funding to towns to beef up, so lack of a better word, broadband internet service. That's the short of it.
So there are some full-time staff in the NEK who spend a lot of effort doing what it takes to get federal funding.
So they're funded federally and they're actually they've been installing in our town.
Not in our town, not right now, they're
Well-
working over in Caledonia.
Yeah, I mean, that, to the household, they're working in the places that really don't have any
Yes.
broadband. I mean,
Like
not,
website.
there are places in Coventry that are in that situation, but there are entire towns.
So it's in place of Comcast.
No,
They're pushing to the places that don't have access.
if you have Comcast now, they're not gonna come to your door.
They're gonna go to.
That's what I mean. So instead of Comcast coming to my house, nobody is there
Yeah.
yet. They're saying, well, they'll do it.
Yep.
And Comcast will lose the customer.
Right.
And I'll pay them.
Yeah.
But they're really not a nonprofit.
Someone's making money. In this, yeah, I wouldn't describe it, I use the word nonprofit in the sense that it's not. It is a nonprofit in the sense they're not out to make money.
I don't waste space. I'll look into it, just so I understand. But all we're doing is,
You don't have any, you don't have. Internet accounts?
DSL, that's probably about all you might have.
It's not like.
All right, so next up is the approval of minutes.
I had another.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, yep.
I'm sorry.
Well, maybe I did this wrong, I haven't been in the meeting very often, just said other business, so I thought that's where we get to speak up. I didn't realize that I went about it wrong, but yeah. I had an issue a couple weeks ago with a neighbor, illegally burning some rubbish. And I tried to get a hold of, Pedro Grondin, and it happened to be on Saturday. And there was nobody I could get a hold of. He's a health inspector too, I guess. And my wife finally did get a hold of him, he said he'd look into it. Never heard back from him, or anything like that, I ended up getting basically sick from the fumes, and it filled my house, and I got a grandchild now, and I just can't have that going on, but who do you contact for that? I mean, it was supposed to be Pedro, but there was nobody there, and then it continued Sunday, and actually Sunday night I left and I came back and I got verbally attacked, and I ended up calling the state police, and finally the report was in. So they had the report, but who, like on the weekend, what steps, who is there Monday? It was supposed to be Pedro, but
Be the fire marshal, I really believe me.
Also, that's also Pedro.
Yeah.
It's.
yeah, the fire marshal.
He's a fire.
That was my next question. So I know he's a fire marshal, but he's also what?
Fire warden, health inspector.
Health inspector?
I mean,
I'm
really
like,
had meetings.
he's got me on and he's definitely fire warden. If you can't get a hold of him, I can talk to him.
I actually, I believe that I did, and there's nothing they can do about it. Unless it's approaching our house.
It's.
Is what, that's the
Illegal or illegal? It's illegal to burn trash.
It's been illegal since.
And if they don't have a burner, then you can call the fire department.
I was just.
So you're looking for
But that-
us to help
Well, I mean,
in the future?
well, it's part of your job to control, I mean, as a select board, as to enforce things like that, and I'm going to you guys, it's like, okay. It's a communication breakdown maybe or something. It's just like, who would you contact? If you can't get a hold of Pedro. Who's the,
Yeah.
it's just gotta be something that's gotta be, yeah, but there's no,
I would say any one of us four.
there's no numbers.
Any one of us four, we're all on the website, right? All our numbers are on the website,
His might not be.
emails and numbers, right? Hopefully.
It's like, I came up with the town of Coventry list
I don't think my
office here.
I don't think our phone numbers are on.
There.
No.
Just list it.
They're out there.
Yeah.
It's on there.
No, I said, we'll put yours, we'll put yourself.
But yeah,
I mean, I could, I,
legit, but I couldn't find any.
I go find Pedro.
So fire warden would be first. And if you called EJ, then that's an issue, but. Fire department would be second, because if they don't have a burn permit, they're not supposed to be burning, and fire department can put it out.
Yeah, I was never, I couldn't get a hold of him, but. My wife did get a hold of Pedro.
Fire department is 911 thing, hey, I got burning, they'll show up.
Big bill.
Oh,
So.
at least it's contracted, so.
On a 5-year roll.
Yeah, yeah, so I mean,
But is that?
you did the right thing and you tried to get hold
Yeah.
of Pedro, that's the right thing to do.
My wife did get a hold of him finally, and he said he was on vacation, he looked into it, we haven't heard back from him or anything.
So what
And like I
we,
said, unfortunately, I ended up getting the state police involved, and when he showed up, he's like, I can smell it right out loud, and he did take a report, there was a report of it, but it was just. I didn't want it to come to that, I mean, that's the last thing I wanted to do, it is happens to be a neighbor, I don't wanna, I just kinda wanna be quiet and.
yeah, I just think that we should right now just focus on the process.
Yeah, I did
Process.
contact information
Yeah,
somehow to make it easy.
so do you know how to get on the website?
Yeah, I got on there, one of them, and it told me the town office, and unfortunately, I ended up calling Dan.
Yeah, so our emails are on there, I guess, so you could email us. I'll get out.
Got computer savvy, they made a better wheel chop for me than,
Well, it's an option, but
yeah, it is, I just.
And if it's illegal to burn trash, if 911, is that out of the, I mean, is that a possibility? Call 911 if you can't get a hold of anybody, is that?
I'll go to the fire department.
Yeah,
Gonna go
I
there
just
anyway?
didn't wanna escalate it to that.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? If we, so he calls us, he gets a hold of you, okay?
This is Pedro's job.
Right.
So Pedro needs to get called by Mr. Maxwell. And Pedro needs to provide Mr. Maxwell and the select board with his
Schedule, he's out of town.
his response or lack thereof for this incident. That's what he needs to give us. So you should call him and brief him for the discussion that we've had today, that it's on the table and that the select board needs to know who, what, when, or what.
Now, is there, when you wife, did get off of the Pedro, when you first tried to call, did you get a message?
Really, get nothing, I just rang him around, my wife did get a hold of him, he said he was on vacation, we looked into it when he got back on.
I mean, if he changed his, he said, understand, I'm out of town, this is the number you should call if you have a fire emergency, which would be whatever.
But he never left a secondary number.
So in the process of our communications with Pedro, he's going to educate us on his official capacity.
Mhm.
And we don't write procedures for him on that, I don't expect.
Nope.
So we
No,
will
I know.
appoint him, however.
Mhm.
So he needs, as an appointed official, come in here and stand on his own 2 feet and answer that question.
I was just, so sick, I thought I could.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So
Yep,
Yeah,
got it.
I agree.
is that satisfactory for the day?
Yeah, just kind of looking for that chain of command,
That's it.
or however it's done.
So he's as far as I understand it, he's a town official,
Yes,
okay? So he has some statutory responsibilities within his official status, which is what you're talking about. We don't necessarily control that official status, statute does.
yes, I'm aware of that.
He is, however, appointed by us. And so we need to reach out to him and ask him to report to us the critical incident and whatever it is that he did, didn't do, what, when, where, why, and then just create a dialogue from it. And if there's things that were missed, I'm sure he's gonna let us know and create some sort of provisions for that not to happen in the future.
I mean,
I don't know, but that's what I would expect.
Even if there's a secondary number, I could like fill that.
And that would be part of his process to let us know how he wants to go through it. they can do. Yeah, so that's what we should do.
Okay.
I had one.
You have another business too?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I only have one.
I have one.
You too.
It's quick.
Mine's very quick. I attended a meeting for the Coventry Town Foundation a couple weeks ago. And, very good meeting. It was here in the building. They were functioning as a group, doing whatever they do. And they, invited me in to talk about funding, well, town finance and all that sort of stuff. And so no decisions, obviously, there was no decisions made, there was none of that, we just sort of talked through those issues. But I think that, we should build on that. I think, as a board, we should have, conversation going forward, not just with ourselves, but with them to create, a plan for their funding, so we don't get a surprise, so we don't, bump in budgets, we got a whole, 8 year almost. To plan that through, so I think we should do that, but I think we should do it in a little bit of a more organized way than we just showing up. So I would, so one of us should do that. I don't think. I think for the next meeting or two with that board, I think, we should get one of us there. And continue that conversation with the knowledge that we have here with how we're building the budgets and thinking through all of these moving parts. And help them understand our moving part and make sure that we can fill it in. And get that all done and hammered out so that we can, ultimately with a perfect plan, pull that right into our overall budget process that we're gonna do this winter. So I would, short of a motion, I would volunteer for that unless you guys want to step into that. Only in the.
Discussionary.
Yeah, that's right, but without any authority of the board to exact decisions on spending money or, any binding decisions, just in a discussionary way, educational way, and sort of, bring our two groups a lot closer together, and with the hope, in the coming months that we can truly form an agreement that we're both satisfied with, and just get that issue dealt with. So I'm willing to do that, but I wanted to do that this way with some discussion here and let you guys know that that's my thinking. And I'm willing to do it and see where we end up. I'm pretty hopeful actually with what I heard the other day. I think it's good news. Yeah, I think like most things, I think it's just talking it out and figuring it out together and laying out a plan. So unless you guys are in conflict with that or have.
Do you want me to make a motion or do you really need one?
I don't think we do, because I don't think, I'm not gonna be, I don't need to be or want to be authorized to make decisions. I don't think we're there. I think that, I am there, I am part of the select board, and I'm there for the purpose of bringing the groups together and have those discussions. And you gotta be able to do that with some sense of, reality. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'll go a month or two, I'll go to try. To make sure that I get to the next couple of meetings with them, and hopefully. I can come back in a few months with them, and we can make some decisions. So. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Well, yeah, you too. For all that, and Deb, she's still here, Deb was there, so, thank you, and please share that, with that group. And I think for like So. We're not far apart, we're, we share the same.
Dreams and goals.
Yeah, we do. So it's like, well, how do we do it in a responsible, respectful way and do it financially?
Just.
Yeah, so. Good.
What's yours, Scott?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we got to approve a couple sets of minutes here. The Monday, April 10th minutes, I'm gonna need a signature on from Scott Breyer. Once you approve those, that's gonna go to Community National Bank.
This is, you might take me off and then you. That's what this is.
Yep. So that's one set. You guys all, you have those other set. That's just the sign, that's the copy you have to sign. You have the minutes in front of you. That's just the
So
one.
that's what we did at the last meeting.
Those are the minutes from the last meeting, yes.
Taking Dave off for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long-standing issue of controlling the general ledger and having access to.
Thank you. You guys you got to motion those minutes.
So we got two
Sets, yep.
all of you ready?
He wasn't at either. Well, he was at one of them, not as a board member though.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think he can approve
No.
either one of them. So it's you two.
So I motion to approve the minutes of the select board meeting Monday, April 10th, 2023.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
And I also motion to accept the minutes as prepared for the select board meeting February, April 14th, 2023.
You get the date right?
What's that?
The 13th and 13th. Oh, I'm thinking-
Well, good, he collected that.
Friday, April 14th.
Yeah. thank you.
But it's just.
Oh, okay, he's got a wrong meeting.
Matt did it wrong with the agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded it? Scott, you did, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Good job, guys. Next up are your warrants.
Done that before, after you get to spend all the town's money.
And in all different ways.
So. The way that all gets laid out for us, here's the actual expenditures. You can look at the detailed sheets. And finally should occasionally, this is usually a little difficult, but anyway, it gives you all, gives us all the detail. Gives us all the detail on whatever it is that you're spending. He's set up now, right? With email and gets all of it.
Yep.
Keep them going, so I have. Yeah. Those two first. We could read both on it.
Don't miss any, guys.
You'll be in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know.
she'll yell at me and then I have to yell at you.
Who's the Fred's expense all the time I see for the tank?
Propane.
Okay.
Dad, what's the expense for Fred that always says tank monitor or?
That is something that they have actually enacted, which I think is ridiculous, because technically those tanks are already paid for. But they are actually allowed to go ahead and charge a fee to all of their tanks. Because our setup has an automatic program for them to come and fill us up. So has an overcost for them to provide that service. They're allowed to go ahead and charge that tank fee.
Be allowed to not pay it?
That's for.
Believe me, I tried. I held off for a couple of months before I paid that. And old Michelle from Fred's was calling me and like, we want this outstanding invoice paid. And I'm like, well, we're not quite there yet.
Auto delivery? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I just, that was a new one for me. I didn't really understand what it was.
Yep. We received 2 of those, one for the schools and one for ours.
Okay, that was twice, huh? Yeah, we did. Yes. Gosh, how to get the $50.
Donuts?
Did we give them $500?
Ooh,
Donuts?
It was
How much?
up to 500.
up to 500
Oh, they charged 73.
for spice, yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here, the tank monitor, so it's $120 per tank
Yep,
for how long?
for.
for
yeah,
each year.
Tank monitors,
Yep.
so what is it doing?
Take a look at it.
Tell me what inspection, tell me what inspection. You tell me what you have not charged, that's what it makes sense.
You know what I think you should do?
Get some prices?
Well, no, I think you should come in cahoots with the school, because I believe we should be staying with propane. And if we do, then we should just look at getting a contracted price to get a lower price, although you guys don't really use that much propane. But still, the price may actually benefit the town because the school goes through so much propane. Get one vendor, and I don't believe we have received that charge from Blue Flame or AmeriGas. That's what I think.
You,
This one.
is this all, oh, he's still got some over there?
We're keeping these.
You taking them home?
I think it's
There's not a lot there. So that's just propane thing, that's on?
Hmm?
Do we even spend that much on propane?
No, you guys really don't. Because the propane is basically just for your generator. Well, and for the stove, the kitchen stove. Because as far as heat goes, that's #2 fuel that we have here.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't get charged that in my home.
I'd be checking it.
Actually, I did receive an information packet, if you use less than so many pounds of propane per year now,
That might be
they
one.
are starting to, add on I don't know what it would, a rental fee or whatever. For that.
We don't burn it, leave the stove on, all right?
Sure, I'll tell that.
Huh?
All right, we need a motion on those warrants.
No. I make a motion to approve the warrants as they were written.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay. Adjourn us.
Make a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
7:28 PM. Good job, guys.
You'll check down Pedro.
Yes, I'll chase down Pedro. I'll chase down propane, Fred's Plumbing and Heating.
So, Ernie, sorry about that.
I don't come to them very often, I probably should have said it when they were